Good day, everyone. Welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. I'm Anna Uspinskaya, joining you from Washington, D.C. suburb, and I'll be hosting the program for today's show, Music and Musicians Around the World. In today's program, we have a very special guest, Robin Harrison, joining us from Yarm near Middlesbrough in the United Kingdom. Robin is a pianist, teacher, and a creator of Maestro Online. Maestro Online is a groundbreaking educational platform, and it's aiming at providing the courses to all people who want to actually enjoy learning the instrument instead of suffering for years through the basics. I'll be sure to ask Robin some really hard questions. And as always, we are here connecting musicians and audiences in real-time performances, music news, and concerts and programs, and all from around the globe. Throughout the season, we host dozens of various events, and we're aiming at helping musicians get forward with their own goals, artistic career goals, whatever they are aiming at today. And we also invite musicians, educators, publishers, media managers, artist management people, and many others to share their insight and to help musicians and everyone who is really interested in music today to navigate our modern world, which is frankly quite confusing, the world of modern music. So for today, what is the Maestro Online exactly? Maestro Online is a music learning platform with a difference. Dr. Robin Harrison, the creator of the Maestro Online, has over 30 years of teaching experience. One-on-one expert lessons, schools, colleges, universities, kindergarten to diplomas to postgraduate. That's a wide range of students Robin Harrison was able to educate. Extremely highly qualified in composition, piano, organ, and singing diplomas. In conservatory degree and musicology. He has a PhD in both. Robin Harrison is formerly number 1 in the UK and number 33 globally for putting jazzy spins on popular melodies. His huge breadth of musical styles and many students of his became professional musicians. But music is for everyone here. Classical, pop, studio, for teachers and for performers. So he's a fellow of Royal Society of Arts, and he is academy teacher for the Royal College of Organists. And he has a teaching pedagogy method published by Routledge in 2021. But enough of introductions. I would like to bring Dr. Robin Harrison to join me and to unlock the secrets of Maestro Online for us. Robin, welcome to our show, and it's a great pleasure to have you.
Anna, it's an absolute honour to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Yeah, let's get straight to it.
Oh yes, let's do it.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
How is it even possible for music to be for everyone?
Well, how could it not be? So, let's see.
Right back to me, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll answer your question with a question. We all love music, and we all know what we like and what we don't like. And even people who say they can't sing, when they watch one of these TV programmes with different singers coming on for a competition, they know which people are singing in tune and which aren't.
That's absolutely true.
So the idea that they haven't got a musical ear is not true, because they can discern what is right and what isn't. So the next question, then, taking from what you're saying, so music is for everyone. Well, the musical learning journey, in fact any learning journey, goes from knowing nothing to, well, I don't think you ever know everything, but it's a ladder.
That's true.
We're all on different stages on that ladder, and we're all moving up the ladder step by step. And it's just where you are on the ladder, isn't it? That's all it is. It's all it is. And if tasks are broken down into small micro steps, then we all know where we're at, and we all know how we can go to the next step, to the next level.
You're so right about the ladder reference, because if I have a ladder in front of me, I can see that I can put my hand on the next step, put my foot on the next step, and I have a guidance of how to actually lift myself up to the next step. And is that the key?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. If you know what the next microstep is, and you aim for that step, you feel like you're progressing. If you want to be amazing in 5 minutes, well, quite frankly, I don't think any of us are. And the world of television, unfortunately, gives us the idea that you just go up there and you perform and you're stunning. But what you don't see in the world of television is the hours, weeks, months, years that people have put in before they've got to that stage. So it's being patient, it's seeing those microsteps, it's feeling the reward as you go through each microstep, and those microsteps adding up to bigger steps. We say in the UK here, pennies make pounds.
That is so true. Now, this is the general and very fundamental principle of learning anything or becoming proficient at anything you decide to do, whether it's music or any other field. So music teachers are very well aware of it. Students, not so much, not always. As you said, television is misleading. But your platform is very different. It is a platform which presents the method in the most coherent way, and there is a reason why it's becoming so popular among music lovers and amateurs, as well as the highest level professional musicians. Now, what is so different about your method and about how your platform leads people through that ladder?
I think there are multiple ways. So first of all, training the ear is the first step. Because if we can hear something, we then need to decode it. In fact, I've got a little prop here, Anna. We then need to decode it.
Yeah.
And only when we've decoded it can we echo it. Or we could echo it and then decode it. Either way, they both work. So what we're doing is we're breaking a task down. We're trying to understand it. There's a difference between hearing and listening. And if we train our ears to understand what's going on, is the next note going up? Is it going down? Is it the same note? How far up is it going? How far down is it going? Is there, if it's a vocalist, is there an inflection? Is there a little decorative note on there? We improve our hearing all the time. And there's one person on my platform who's a choral director, and fascinatingly, she said in the interview with me that in her choral rehearsals, she has more listening tasks than she has singing tasks.
That is so insightful. I remember when I was in Moscow Conservatory, my professor used to always say, and I didn't quite understand what he meant, he always said, we play with the ears, not with the fingers and feet.
Yes. Now, with our oral training, it's inspired by a very famous method which is known as the Kadai method, which uses solfège. And there are other people that use solfège, not just Kadai. And that helps us hear the relationships between the notes. Which ones are more important, which ones are secondary, which ones are tertiary. And we get a hierarchy of notes and we begin to hear where they are within the scale. The other significant thing about this platform is how much improvisation and creativity there is. So very often people give up learning. How many adults have you met who said, oh, I gave up piano because my teacher wouldn't let me play it the way I want to play it? Because
That's right.
As we're brought up in classical music, as you have been and I have been, we are taught to accurately reproduce the dots in front of our eyes exactly as they are. But not everybody's like that, and that's not a very creative process. You could
That is
still
so true.
learn.
And composers who created those dots on the paper, they didn't come to those dots the same path.
Correct. Absolutely correct. So improvisation, being creative, is a way of understanding theory or harmony and keys. And it's a much more fun way of doing it. And then we start understanding pieces and not reproducing pieces. So the world of YouTube is in some ways great. And in some ways it's not good for our music profession. It's great in that you can find some videos by some great people showing you how to play a piece. Or you can get those bars that come down over the keys and you can follow them and copy them. Mm-hmm. The problem with that is that although you can play that piece and you can learn to play it, you don't understand that piece. You don't understand the key it's in. You don't understand the chords it uses. You don't understand the melodic features. So you don't have an intelligent interpretation. You have a copy reproduction. And the aim is to make people artists in their own right, people who understand, people who could train things. And in the pop world, well, there's people on the platform who've played with big names like Madonna and the Jacksons. And in fact, Madonna's keyboard player said to me, I don't play the pieces the same 2 days in a row. He said, can you imagine going on tour with Madonna doing the same show every night? If you played it the same every night, you'd lose inspiration, you know.
You'd lose your mind.
Yeah. He said, you have to do something different. And he said that, and the bands respond to each other in that way. One person does something different, and everybody else responds. And then there's that sense of organic creativity and spontaneity is still there. I imagine it's a bit like acting in pantomime.
That's right, absolutely. And of course, when you're understanding the inner mechanics of it, it's like you're learning the entire language as opposed to just learning to recite one poem in a foreign language.
Yeah, so by the end of a course, no two learners on the platform should sound the same. Even the beginners courses, no two people should sound the same. All learners should have an understanding of several keys by the end of a course. All learners should have an understanding of several chords from that course. And they should be doing things with those chords, making up different textures, different patterns, whether it's Alberti bass, whether it's walking bass, whether it's a shuffle, whether it's arpeggios. Oh, I think I've split a note there.
You gotta look at the keyboard at least once in a while.
So you're creating your own textures, your own accompaniments, and some of those are classical, some of those aren't. There's all different styles, and we're not presenting the view that any style is superior to any other style. After all, you know, the Beatles use this chord, Beethoven used this chord, Mozart used this chord, Bach used this chord. It's not about the chord, it's about what you do with that chord.
Oh yeah, that's golden words. Yes, it's not about the chord, it's what you do with it. And especially if you can do your own, put it in your own context and ornament it with your own fantasy, with your own imagination.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Now, this is not the most conventional way to teach, and could be, you know, a lot of teachers are not even really familiar with that way. You have an incredible collection, I want to say a star collection of absolutely phenomenal musicians who come on your platform, and they are on the same page with you. They share your vision, they share your mission.
Absolutely.
And they teach in that exact style. And some of them are primarily classical musicians or composers or conductors. You have a whole spectrum covered in there. Who are the teachers? And I want to also, after a brief introduction, to show a few samples of these absolutely stunning musicians.
There's a whole range of people. I've already mentioned Madonna's keyboard player. There's a Korg pianist or keyboard player who tours with the Jacksons and Misha Paris and all these kind of people. He's amazing, phenomenal. We've got classical people like an organist from Switzerland, Stefan Matul, who's the court organist there, where Mendelssohn and people like that used to go. So he's got quite a heritage to follow in, and he's got like fugue improvisation courses. We've got
fugue improvisation.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, Bach improvised fugues, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And walked 200 miles or something to hear Buxtehude, which is phenomenal.
You know, you're dismantling so many biases and prejudices because, you know, Bach improvised fugues. But for the past century, the 20th century, the common instilled knowledge in musicians was, well, he improvised fugues because he was a genius. You're not, so don't even try. Don't you think?
I do, but I think it's worse than that. I think it's worse than that in that fugue is presented as something that people at degree level, undergraduates, do as a kind of test, as a kind of understanding of harmony and counterpoint test. So in other words, it's not presented as something fun or enjoyable. It's presented as something to see how much you understand and how academic you are. Well, Mozart didn't go and buy, you know, an easiest piano book from a bookshop, did he, to learn piano?
No, he didn't.
He would have been messing around on the keys, exploring patterns, and I don't know whether the Amadeus movie is to be believed, but apparently he was quite a party animal. Apparently he quite liked to show off, he liked to entertain, and all that fun element. Just like if a child has learnt, you know, part of their their favourite pop song or TV theme or a movie theme, or they've got a bit of Mission Impossible that they've learnt, and they play it to their friends and go, "Look what I can play."
Exactly.
And Mozart would have been doing the same thing.
Oh yeah, and all of those greatest composers, they used the pop songs and embedded it in their symphonies, and did a lot of improvisations and pieces based on snippets and patterns and parts, and even sometimes the whole melodies from those pop songs.
Well, patterns and cliches are crucial to all styles. So when you hear this, you automatically go, "Oh, that sounds a bit like Mozart," because that pattern is from that era. And if I do this, you're not thinking Mozart.
No, you're thinking
blues
boogie
or
woogie,
something like that. Yeah. And if I do this, you're thinking, oh, maybe a bit of Elvis, maybe. If I do this, you're thinking maybe Mozart. If I do this, you're maybe thinking Mozart, maybe Beethoven. I don't know, something classical. I did steal that from a famous piece, as I'm sure you know. And so each era and each style has its own cliches, doesn't it? And so basically patterns discern eras. And Mozart will have learnt patterns like, and that pattern, which we know as 7/6 suspensions, is actually within one of the courses on the platform. We have classical improvisation as well as rock, pop, jazz. And so all these people are like this. What's fascinating, which I only realised in the past few weeks, Anna, is I was speaking at a conference for an organisation in the UK called Music Mark, a huge educational organisation. It's their 10th anniversary. They invited me to speak, and I was talking about these people and how these geniuses that are on the platform began their journeys. And I went back to all my interviews with them, and I cut bits out. And it turns out that they were all playing by ear first, even the classical ones. And it also turns out that they were all using black keys more first than white.
Let's get acquainted with your amazing people on your platform. We have a few short clips of their own playing. And I want to really take a look at them. Let's roll with that.
Let's do it.
Thinking about the sort of merry-go-round waltz type thing. So it's an obvious place for a waltz, and as the house is revolving slowly and then gets faster and faster, it should be not too difficult to reflect that in the music.
Wow, these are two very different organists.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about these amazing people.
So Darius Batawala you saw first. Darius is an amazing guy. And so, as you saw, he improvises to silent movies. It's not the only thing he does. That's just one of his passions, if you like, one of his fun things. And so those courses teach you various dances that were popular in the era. Because when people improvise to silent movies, they might have waltzes, they might have marches and things like this. And what I've done with Darius in those courses is we've taken some famous pieces, broken them down in terms of chord structure, chord patterns, things you can do over those. We've got integrated software that might play the chord patterns for you, and you just improvise the tune over the top. So you want to do something like a Charleston, for instance, and get that Charleston rhythm, which was typical of the era. So that's a really creative way into understanding chord progressions, different styles of music.
And just a question. So the course is recorded and it's available for people to just take step-by-step our conversation about the letter, and
Correct.
if they follow the teacher of the course, they will be able to do this kind of improvisation.
Correct. Correct.
Oh my
So
God.
So it's a pre-recorded course. There's many pages to each section. There's different interactive software to support you. There's different perspectives. So there's ways to do it if you're somebody who plays by ear. There's ways to do it if you're somebody more traditional who uses Roman numerals to represent chords. There's ways if you're a bit more of a guitarist type person and you use letters to understand chords. So there's different strategies, and then different rhythmic patterns for the different styles of dancers or whatever the music might be. And then the second person you saw there was the person I mentioned before, Stefan Matul, who's the chapel organist there in Lucerne. And he's created the fugue course. But don't worry, Anna, it doesn't start with fugue from the beginning.
I would hope so.
It starts with Frere Jacques in 2 parts in a canon. So you begin to develop your own canons in 2 parts, which actually is a common part of the Kodály method, often playing a tune and singing it. So you might be going, Frere Jacques, and so you're doing the canon with yourself, developing that 2-part hearing. So there's little tasks like that are building up your ability to cope with different things at once, which, as you know, classical musicians call counterpoint, when you've got these different layers at the same time.
Well, that's the famous multitasking, which a lot of
Yes.
students taught never to multitask. You will not be able to accomplish any task if you do multitask.
Yes.
Well, with music, you learn how to multitask purposefully and in an organized manner.
That's right. That's right. And so he builds from that eventually into a fugue.
Mm-hmm. Let's see another short clip we prepared
let's do
to
it.
introduce a few more
Yes,
people.
please.
What I like to do is practice more than one thing at a time. So I'll practice, for instance, a harmonic sequence and a texture at the same time, and then I'll try to fit it into a form. So I'll be practicing 3 things at the same time, and sometimes I'll isolate them and then add another aspect.
Alright guys, so now we're going to do a little improvisation based on that riff that we just looked at in A Whole Lot of Rosie. So we're in the key of A minor blues. Let's just get into it. A bit of rock and roll.
So as a result, if I zoom right out, this is what we get. There we go.
That's absolutely stunning. How you put together the platform, which really provides tools for any type of imagination, whether you want to be a guitar electric guitar player, or whatever medium you choose, or you want to take it all together and create a full modern symphonic score. Your platform has a course for any one of those aims, goals, and takes through that ladder step by step. Through using the patterns and understanding the inner mechanics of how the music architecture works.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
We have, I think, a couple of more clips I wanted to see. Let's see those.
To play the same.
Blind, but now I see.
Daybreak and we're greeted by an impish old chap. He tells us there's a bar here, puts Dublin on the map. Tiptoe to the basement, there's Irish crack galore. A certain kind of magic behind the cellar door.
What a range, and what amazing musicians, every single one of them. How do you attract so many people to support your idea and to give their best to your platform?
Many for different reasons. I mean, Amelia, that last one you just saw, well, that's a bit of a heart-touching one, because I started teaching her singing when she was 8, and then she was a finalist in the Young Folk Singers Awards. So it's great with her. But with other people, right? How did it start? To be honest, it's been networking. It's been I had a few contacts to start with, the people I already knew, and I started with the people I knew. I had Mick Donnelly, who's played saxophone for I don't know, everybody from Michael Jackson to everybody. Anyway,
and we have a clip of him coming up.
Oh, good. and Madonna's keyboard player I started with as well, because he was a friend of a friend. And then I've basically asked people, well, who do you know? And then when I speak to people, certainly if they're further on in their career, they go, actually, there's a need for this. And they're that far down their career where they go, do you know, I want to give something back. I want to help somebody else have that beginning to their journey and have something more than they will get from even a great local teacher, to be able to, because that's what some people use the courses for. Some people have a regular teacher and use the courses like an addition. And so these people are at that stage of their career where they're going, I want to give back. I want to help other people. And that's really where it's come from. And it's amazing how nice, generous, caring and giving these people are, even though they're at a global level of performance. And I say even though, and I think actually what I've learned is that's why they've got to that level. Because music at that level is about teamwork. It's about working with people. And if you work well with people, if you're respectful, if you're kind, if you're caring, if you work hard, if you're committed, then I think you will gain those connections and you will do well. And I just from my experience of meeting all these people, I think that's actually a core element of becoming a professional musician at a high level, is actually being a genuinely great person.
That's so insightful. I have exact same experience. Yeah, the more musicians are able to accomplish, the more it reveals their really good nature as people.
Yes. Yes.
Because, as young people, we'll look for different paths and different ways of treating and communicating and interacting with the people. But that ladder, which is also both artistic and career ladder, some people just learn what works best, and being a good person does.
Yeah.
That's really incredible. And you have all of those. You have the mission, you have the vision, you have a really incredible idea, and you're also incredibly engaging person. So
Thank you.
we've been working together on various projects, doing things together, and it's been absolutely delightful. And you got me hooked on your ideas from the very first time we talked.
You're very kind, Anna, very kind.
But it's just true. And we have a couple of more clips which I would like to share with people.
Please do.
And it has to be a verb, so you go, it's to do this, or it's to do that. So, Dance With Me Tonight, for example, it starts with, my name is Ollie, nice to meet you, can I tell you, baby? Well, actually, there's two objectives there, so it should be, my name is Ollie, nice to meet you. There's one chunk. To introduce.
Yep.
Can I tell you, baby? Is enticing, okay? Look around, there's a whole lot of pretty ladies. At that point, he's flirting. Yeah, so to flirt. But none like you, you shine so bright. So, in fact, I would actually join those two together. So you'd have, my name is Ollie, nice to meet you, can I tell you, baby? Look around, there's a whole lot of pretty ladies, but none like you, you shine so bright.
And C major is just the tofu with nothing added.
Yes.
Okay. And it's nice, and it will sustain you, and we like C major, and it's a good chord.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But we like, in cooking and in music, to embellish and colour chords. And there are lots and lots of ways of doing this, and I think of those as being a bit like a spice rack where you're adding different flavours. Okay. There's so many ways of doing this, and I think the best way that you can do it as a learning exercise is to be quite to use it as an exploring exercise. Mm-hmm. One way is to play the chord and try out different notes against the chord. And what you'll find is that, in general, with C major, these white notes feel quite secure. Even that one, it's more discordant.
It wants to move.
It wants to move, that one. In fact, that's a good learning that you bring that up. So here we are. This is our basic, is C. And we've added F. Now something's happening here. The colour is changing, the flavour is changing. And it's telling us that something's probably going to have to move. Mm. It could be this right hand, so moving to a consonant there, or
way to learn the scale.
Yeah, I know. That's how Mick teaches people to learn scales. It's not great.
Yeah. Incredible.
I have to tell you a story about the Indian one. Fabulous story. He was telling me about when he had his guru. He was living with his guru, learning with his known as Ustad, which is like the ultimate. And during one of his lessons, the Indian Prime Minister called his Ustad, his guru, and the reply, and somebody came to tell him, "Oh, Indian Prime Minister's on the phone," and he said, "No, I'm practicing. Tell him he can call back when I finish practicing."
Okay.
So
And the Prime
music
Minister respected that?
Yeah. So music comes before prime ministers and presidents and all of those. They'll have to wait till you finish doing your practice.
That's pretty cool. What a story. But listen, this is amazing. Now, I do want to ask you for a favor while I have you on the program.
Oh,
now,
what's
in
that?
myself, you have a pretty accomplished pianist who performed in many countries and all that, with one aspect where I have absolutely zilch experience, and that is improvisation. And your teaching method is based on improvisation, and it's based on this free style of learning, and I never learned it. So give me a lesson.
Okay, all right. Let's imagine you'd never had a lesson before and you came to me.
Should I get to the piano already?
That would help.
Okay. There we
would
go.
help. Right, okay.
All right.
So the first improvisation I had was with an amazing Czech composer called Petr Eben. And the first thing Petr made me do was play with one note only and make a piece. Something like this. Etc. And you build the piece
Are
up.
you kidding? You can do this with one note? Let me try.
One note, go for it.
Did I just improvise?
You did indeed.
Oh my God!
Absolutely did. That was
All right.
superb. Right, well done. So you improvised with one note. And the thing with improvising with one note is it's even better than people realise because it's developing your rhythm. You can't make a tune with one note. So you have to have
you got to
good
use rhythm. That's right.
So you've got to use rhythm. Yeah. Now, two notes. So I've just got my 3 long fingers on 3 black notes, which is good for the right
Yes,
hand
sir.
position. Good for hand position for pianists. So let's try 2 notes. Okay, now I'm going to jump ahead to 4 notes. I need your pinky or little finger on B to the right of the 3 black notes. And I need the 3 black notes. Now we're going to play We Will Rock You, okay? The song by Queen. So we're going to go. See if you can work that out. So just to make it clear, everybody, you can't see my hands, so you've just used your ear. So
That's
great.
right.
Well done. So
Thank you.
now we could do it with both hands, we could do it in different octaves, but we can take that even further and we can play it in different keys. So when I look at that B, down to the next note, the black note, there's no notes in between. They're next to each other. And we call that a semitone, don't we? So now to the next black note, there's one in the middle. So that's 2 semitones. And then to the next one, 1, 2, 2 semitones. So what if I started on E to the right of the 2 black notes? So I'd have E, 1 step down, then 2 steps down, and then 2 steps down. Now I can play We Will Rock You there. Okay, now I've played We Will Rock You in 2 different places. I'm going to play them one after the other. Now, this time, I'm just going to come down all of those notes. So I'm going to go down the B with my pinky, down the 3 black notes, put my thumb on E, then my middle finger on the next black note. Try that.
I did
Yes,
flip.
middle note, yeah, crossover. So 2 We Will Rock Yous has just made a major scale, and you've just learned a major scale. Now, and you've done it in your first lesson. Hey,
I did it!
you did it. So, what now if we maybe put some chords to that? Now, I know you understand chords, and so for the purpose of this video, I'm going to jump ahead a bit. We're going to have a G sharp minor under the first one. Something like that. Okay, so what you've done is you've echoed me, you've copied me. What if you did something different? So maybe you change the order of notes.
There we go, improv.
Hey, so you start making your own piece. And then you
It
can
was
shift it down.
clumsy, I think, but I tried.
But it's improvisation, so you can't be wrong, because it's yours.
That's so true.
So there's no such thing as wrong. So now we can add things like octaves in the bass. We can move to the different positions, so we can go... And we can add the different keys together. Go for it. Exactly. Well done, Anna.
That was so much fun. You know, I've never done anything like that in my life.
Well, you've done
And that
incredibly
is
well.
utter fun.
Yeah. So you can see that in not very many lessons we could get to that stage.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Especially if
that's
the person has a
probably
bit
3
of
lessons
background.
worth. Yeah.
For someone who is complete beginner, maybe people need to take a little bit more incremental steps.
Yes,
in that.
yes, of
And you
course.
have courses for that to take it.
Yes.
Of course, I mean, if someone has experience with an instrument, it helps.
Yes.
But this is completely different area. This is like owning the instrument. It's almost like
It is owning it.
being
It's
one with it.
That's right. I was going to say creating a relationship with it, becomes part of you. And then we do solfege first, and we do da ti la sol la la, and the hand signs and all of that. So we're understanding that relationship. And those, I take snippets of famous tunes because you already recognise it. Always helps if you already recognise it. And then what you get is a series of different building blocks that you can put together. So it's a bit like playing Lego or something like that, you know, or making a jigsaw, taking different pieces, putting them together and making something with those pieces, rather than it being random. Because when you sit and look at piano, I mean, what have you got? 88 keys.
Exactly. It's just intimidating and confusing.
That's 88 options if I play one note. Once I start combining notes, that's even more than 88 options.
Exponential.
Yes, exactly. So then if the choice is too big, I'm stressed, I'm worried, I'm anxious, I don't know where to start. So when we did the one note improvisation, you knew straight where to start because you've only got one note.
Exactly. That's incredible. That's unfolding it like peeling the onion pieces and then putting them
Yes.
back together, building blocks. I mean, come on, everything is built that way. Houses, Chinese wall is built out of blocks and bricks. So that's what makes it a lot more doable and a lot more enjoyable.
Well, in fact, the house analogy is one I use, Anna. I say you don't just build a house. You dig the foundations, you lay every brick one by one, you put the cement, the mortar in, you level it off. It takes time and it's step by step, and it takes a lot to build a whole house. But it's not that you build a house, it's that you create all these mini steps to get there.
Of course, and all those materials, those building blocks, but
Yes.
every single one, even one or two building blocks, already allow you to create a structure.
Yes, exactly.
And then you
even
just
with-
keep expanding on top of it. That's
Exactly,
incredible.
even with 2 notes. And you could choose a different 2 notes. It might not be. It might be something more sinister. Or it might be 3 notes. And you start
And there we
making a
get
film
Schoenberg.
score. Yeah, exactly.
Or a film score, exactly.
Or
Now,
get a film score, yeah.
before we run out of time, I want to allow people to get a little peek preview at how your platform works, and I think we have a short video, and if you can comment a little bit after that, because people need to be familiar with how the building blocks of your platform work and how they can get involved and get into it and start exploring music and creating their own.
Thank you for showing them. Thank you.
Let's log into our course dashboard and find out what this gamification things are. Well, I've got my profile, my image, my name, how many times I've logged in, my certificate points. You can see how much I've progressed, pages I've recently viewed, and I can resume where I left off. There's even a league table. As I scan down, there's the self-study courses for different instruments and areas. There's masterclasses. You can see how far through you are each masterclass. Singing ones. Classical improvisation, composition theory, great for A-level and universities. Jazz, pop and classical improvisation there for the piano. The music software, performance anxiety, orchestration and arrangement. Now, let's say you want to study a particular area. You want to work on piano, improvisation and theory all there. So you click that. And today I'm going to work on Pretty Woman. So I zap through, and on the contents page, you will find the original song on YouTube for you to watch. And the system even checks that you've watched it. And there are various targets on each pages. I'm going to go to the play by ear page. There's a video teaching me. There's an interactive score which has the solfege underneath, the notes, and if you don't want to read the notes or you need help, there's a piano keyboard playing underneath or a guitar fretboard. You click your target to show that you've met it. The magic comes when you've completed a course, because the system will show you that you've completed all your targets. It will give you a quiz, you submit it, and a download certificate button will appear if you have got everything correct. And here we are. Good luck.
Robin, you're a genius, because one of the biggest challenges for anyone studying something as monumental as music and the entire scope of it and entire history of it is keeping on track and being able to regularly dedicate. You don't need a lot of time. I always tell all the students and their parents, you don't need to spend 7-8 hours practicing piano. No one nearly ever did, even among the greatest pianists. The key is you need to spend some time every single day, and that every single day's practice needs to be organized, and it needs to be goal oriented, not just, okay, I'm just spending minutes moving my fingers and aimlessly, but it needs to be that next step on the ladder, and which actually takes you to the next step after that. And of course, in lesson I organize that for students, and I'm sure you do, and every teacher does, but you can't teach the student every day. There needs to be a pathway for the student to make their time with the music as productive and and very organized. Organizing the learning is the key to success in there, because if someone is just learning something unreachable, they're just getting disappointed. It needs to be step by step, and it needs to have that structure and that reward as well. So gamification of the process is an incredible, it's a key word everybody knows, but you did the magic with it. You applied it to the course to actually organize that practicing time.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's a combination. You're absolutely right. Little and often is perfect for music learning. We all have busy lives. You still have to do the shopping. You still have to put the kids to bed. You still have to put the things in the washing machine. All these things have to happen. So you haven't got, 24 hours a day to play or sing or whatever it is. So a little and often is good. And if you ask me what I was doing at this time 2 weeks ago, I can't remember. So if I don't play for 2 weeks, I won't remember where I was. So I need to do little and often. And as you also rightly say, you need a goal or a structure so that, just playing alone is fun. Yeah, of course it is. But a goal or a structure allows you to see those micro steps. You see your own progress, and that makes you want to do more, because you feel that satisfaction of, I've achieved, I've succeeded.
Absolutely.
And that spurs you on, and that's really important. And that's what the platform tries to do. And that's something I've only introduced within the last year, that gamification element, because I recognise that particularly when you're learning online, that extra incentive, that extra knowing where you're at and knowing where you're going really, really helps you, because as musicians we have to be quite self-disciplined, don't we? And that's
Absolutely.
a hard thing.
Yeah, and you can't be self-disciplined with just moralizing over it. Well, I have to practice so that I am all of that. But that doesn't work as well as more organic motivation. And one of the biggest motivations, you're right, I noticed, is the success itself.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
And the progress itself is
Yes.
the source of the greatest.
And
greatest
that's ideally what we want. That we want to feel great about ourselves, and we all want to feel great about ourselves. We all like to feel like we're doing well.
And seeing and observing and feeling your backpack with all your skills and knowledge and abilities kind of grow little by little. That's fun.
Yeah, it is. And when you then look back a couple of months and go, oh, 2 months ago I couldn't do this, I could do it now. That's a great feeling. This seemed impossible a little while ago. I can do it now. That's great. And that doesn't matter whether you're at my level, your level, or a beginner. We've all got something that's really hard for us.
Absolutely.
And if we chip away at it, we'll see that progress.
And the chip away is also so satisfying, because you look at this Everest mountain of the next goal and you go like, well, it is just way too intimidating. I want to avoid and just not do it. But chip away with something tangible in your hand, that is just so satisfying, and those are the building blocks.
Yes, absolutely, Anna.
Robin, you are such a delightful guest, and you really are doing such a great service to musicians and music lovers and everyone who wants to be creative in that, not just be a receiver, just be an admirer and listen to great music created by others, but unlock and develop and expand their own potential in being a musician in creating music. You can never tell if someone is genius until they actually try to create some music. And you're really creating an incredibly comprehensive platform with fun, which goes like a light throughout all of it.
Thank you.
And music is fun, and it needs to be communicated without minimizing the complexity.
Yeah, and there's one new element coming next year, Anna, I must tell you about. And I'm just in the process of finalising. We were talking about it beforehand. There's some pop piano exams that are accredited by the body that regulates all exams in the UK, so properly official. And they'll be coming in the new year. And there's going to be some quirky things there. Like, I've just literally got an email yesterday. I've been fighting for people to be able to play in any key they like, and that will be allowed in the exam.
Wow.
And there will be notation, but you don't have to follow the notation, and you can play it in your own way. And you'll be encouraged to stylize. So these, I think, are groundbreaking
Absolutely.
things. I don't think any other exam board does this.
That's absolutely incredible. Congratulations, and good for you working with the conservative schools to open up for that kind of possibility for people to step up their creativity just one next step further.
Yes, there's been quite some arm wrestling going on, Anna, but we're getting there.
That's wonderful. Robin, thank you so much for taking time to come on our show and to share your mission, your vision, your community of incredible musicians. And thank you for being who you are and doing what you do, and for being such a generous giver back to the musical community and to everyone who is interested in becoming a creative musician.
Thank you, Anna.
So
it's been an absolute joy. Thank you.
And we will say goodbye to Robin, and I will just give you a few announcements of what's coming next. And what's next? We have a timeline in our season as virtual concert halls and progressive musicians and sound espressivo collaboration. The very next thing, right up front, are the deadlines for everyone who wants to perform with the orchestras around the world to apply to Call Orchestra. And this little video will tell you all about it.
Call Orchestra is back. Our new season of auditions for classical musicians is now available. Performance opportunities for students, young professionals, and seasoned artists. Perform a concerto with orchestras around the world. We have 4 orchestras this season. Perform with orchestras throughout the US, Czechia, and Egypt. New this season, opportunities for composers to have their orchestral works recorded by the Boulder Symphony Orchestra, mastered and distributed on the world's most known music streaming platforms. Audition live from the comfort of your own home. Get live evaluations from expert judges and expand your online presence through our international internet broadcasts. Additional award and performance opportunities are also available. Visit our website for full details. Don't miss out on these wonderful opportunities to advance as a musician and perform on a world-renowned stage. We look forward to hearing your performances.
All right, if you are not really looking for performance with the orchestra, or you don't have a concerto or aria working on, but you want to perform on a very prestigious venue and you want to collaborate with other artists, then deadlines to apply to laureate ensembles with a performance at the Wild Recital Hall at the Carnegie Hall in the next July 1st. Those are coming up also very soon. And you see on the screen right now, there are a variety of ensembles. These are small ensembles, up to 20 people. You can join either all strings ensembles directed by phenomenal Kelly Hall Tompkins. You can choose to join the flute choir, will be directed by Rita D'Arcangelo, who is coming to work with this ensemble from Germany. You can also join the all strings ensemble earlier in April if you have a little break right around the Easter time. We will have also a very unusual ensemble coming from Madrid and directed by Teresa Laiz, ensemble of castanet players. Get in touch with Teresa Laiz if you would like to join that one. We also have a guitar ensemble, will be directed by Julio Reis. Also for the performance at the Carnegie Hall on stage. So all ensembles gather in New York for 2 days, intensive rehearsals, collaboration, master courses, presentations filled with events. You will also be visiting some of the best schools in New York, and then drum roll, your ensemble will appear at the Carnegie Hall on Carnegie Hall stage, and it'll be filmed. You will have a video of that performance. Now, also, we are continuing with our series of video presentations of Magnificent 9 Beethoven symphonies. We started with the Symphony Number 5. The film was created in collaboration with Architects of Music and Lawrence Rapchak, who for years and years was presenting pre-concert lectures for Chicago Symphony. It used to be that you had to live in Chicago or fly across the world to hear what he says. Now, in these films, you can hear his incredible narration, very engaging and very humorous sometimes, and very serious, and goes, by the way, also into a lot of architectural building blocks Beethoven used to create his symphonies. We're coming to the close to the end of the Fifth Symphony, and we'll be continuing with the other symphonies. So stay tuned on Thursdays and Sundays. Those are being presented. And now, just a quick overview for you to see what else is packed into the 23-24 season, and the similar events will be in the next season. So if you're not planning on doing it this year, just get familiar with it, get comfortable with what we do with the online, virtual, internet, TV, live auditions and the process. Here's the overview of the season. And just so you know, these are all live programs and we stream on all major platforms. You can see our programs on YouTube, on Facebook, on everything. You can see it right there on the screen, all major platforms. And we also collaborate with many platforms which provide music courses, music opportunities, music management, publishing. We collaborate with those platforms to deliver our programs to a public free of charge. You get to hear great music, you get to learn and explore what else you can do for your career development, for your artistic development, and you get to meet wonderful guests and learn the insights from the people who are currently right now creating more and better musical world. And our partners are so supportive. We are so grateful to everyone who is working together with us and adding their energy, their desire to give back to the community, to ours. And it takes a village or more to create anything good. So we learn to work with many partners from many countries, and we are really blessed with all the support which we are receiving. And last but not least, I want to thank our incredible team. These are wonderful musicians. They are instrumentalists, they are composers, they are performers and educators. They are also what we've been called by many of our participants Harry Potters of internet TV, by their incredible skills, which they learned through thousands of live broadcasts. They're able to bring to you this entertaining and valuable and engaging educational programs. Thank you, a special thank you to our today's director of the show, Ante Božić-Kudrić, who is in Croatia, who is a fantastic pianist and a composer and a young composer in residence for virtual concert halls. And Ante is a phenomenal show director. All of this is done live. Ante, thank you so much for supporting our program. And we have Robin Harrison back for us for just a quick thank you. And if you want to say something to our audience before we sign off, please do.
Be creative, never be a clone, be yourself, make music.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I'll follow absolutely every word you said. And thank you, our audience. Robin, thank you again so much for joining us. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Beethoven. And with that,
great.
we say goodbye. Thank you all.